one, national security. But you look at Ukraine and you look at the fact we're trying to keep ourselves out of war. And if the Senate goes home for the holidays, that's inexcusable. You don't go home until the job is done. That's the problem we have in D.C. right now, is you got to get in a room and figure it out. You got to get in a room and make the hard decisions, and they're not doing that. We can't have this border continue to be open. We can't continue to not go and support our friends or our enemies get more control over us and threaten us, and that's what's happening right now. And it's why I say if Congress doesn't do their job, they shouldn't get paid.
Ambassador, if you were president right now, what would you do to keep them working?
Well, I think, first of all, you get them in a room and say, we're not leaving until we figure this out. I did that as governor. That's what you have to do when you're a leader, is you have to show the taxpayers a return on investment. And that is, you only get that with results. And right now, we just have a lot of spinning going on. And I think that Biden has proven time and time again, he can't close a deal when it comes to getting things done. And the fact that we have been dealing with this border issue, not just for 3 or 4 years, we've been dealing with this border issue for like 8 years now. Like, it's unthinkable that we don't acknowledge the fact that we're a country of laws. The second you stop being a country of laws, you give up everything this country was founded on. And that's happening right there on the southern border.
And Julie, could I throw something in there?
Sure.
I think too many folks in America think that the president doesn't have leverage over Congress. Congress and Senate are its own thing. Nothing the president can do. No way. The president, and as a governor working with the legislature, always has the ability to have leverage, force the conversation on issues this big that really are driving on national security. Look, if it's a minor issue or something, okay, fine. But this is something that is so severe. It is literally day by day. When you're talking about Israel, when you're talking about the Ukraine, when you're talking about the southern border, this is day by day life and death stuff. And the fact that the president is just kind of taking a hands off, well, I guess there's nothing. No, a good leader gets it done. A good leader can always find a way to get it done, no matter what hand they're dealt. And they always have the ability to use their leverage if they're willing to put their political capital to use. And again, put their ego aside, put their own self-interest aside and say, look, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to force these guys to come back. I don't care what levers I have to pull. I'm going to make sure that they understand that they have to get this thing done. So Chuck Schumer's just kind of walking away. No, I guess I'll see you. I'll see you next year, Mr. President. And the president's just kind of waving at him, from the White House windows like it's nap time or something. It's ridiculous. So it's too important of an issue to let Congress and the Senate off the hook. Well,
and similarly, Ambassador, even before we have the New Hampshire primary, we've got a deadline on government funding here. And I wonder, tapping into your experience as a fiscal leader, how do you keep the government from shutting down?
It's one of the things that we Americans should not even be worried about this. Congress has one job, and that's to fund government. And the fact that they have only given us a budget on time 4 times in 40 years is inexcusable. It is, one, the reason why we constantly say we have to have term limits. 2, it's the reason that if they can't get us a budget on time, they should not get paid. I can't stress that enough. And 3, that is not the taxpayers' problem. That's Congress's problem. Don't make taxpayers feel the fact that you couldn't get your job done. There are too many excuses made for Congress these days. We have got to start demanding results. And a president can do that. A president can call them out. A president can give them deadlines. A president can let the taxpayers know this is what's happening and what's not happening. But for them to put that back on the taxpayers and play the finger pointing game, those days will come to an end when I become president. That's what I did in South Carolina. That's what I did at the United Nations. And that's what I'll do when we get to D.C.
Governor, before I have to let you go, we know that usually a few weeks before the primary, it's almost like the ground starts shifting, right? And you start to feel difference in the air, like it feels a little different, like a quickening. Are you feeling that yet in New Hampshire?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, without a doubt. I think it really started shortly after Thanksgiving. I think, I'm not saying it's just my endorsement, but I think we timed this one right, if I may. People are really coming out of the woodwork just this week. They're really getting engaged. And that's when you want them to get engaged, because then they go back and they have Christmas dinner. They have their political discussions. That's what we do. It's like our 5th, professional sport here in New Hampshire. They'll have their political discussions over Christmas dinner. Who are you with? What are you seeing? And the talk of the town is without a doubt Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley surging. Everyone is coming around. A lot of Chris and Ron are great governors, good candidates. I have all the respect in the world for them. But at this point, it's a two-person race. It's Nikki Haley versus Donald Trump. And I think anybody who is either in a more of an anti-Trump camp or something like that, they're going to galvanize behind Nikki. Folks that we had a Trump voter leave the town hall we just did in Newport, New Hampshire. He said, "Yeah, look, I kind of been with Trump. I haven't engaged. I'm with Nikki now." And so there's just a lot of that. It's not like Trump voters won't move. About a third of them, under all the polls say, about a third of them are willing to move. They just haven't engaged in the process yet, right? They're just kind of taking it as a fait accompli. It's not. So as those folks engage, they're going to realize, wait a minute, you can't have, even if you're a staunch Republican and supported the president in 16 and 20, like Nikki and I both did, you can't have a president constantly distracted when you're dealing with these major issues. That kind of reality is coming to bear with a lot of these Republicans, and they're saying, okay, we're going to go with a great conservative like Nikki Haley. And so you're going to see a movement from all the candidates coalesce around Nikki Haley, and I have no doubt we can deliver a win for her on January 23rd.
Gov.Chris,
the one thing that we keep hearing about is the fact that, in all the general elections, you look at that and you see Trump and Biden are, head to head even. And in some cases on a good day, Trump might be up by 2 points or 4 points like he was with the Wall Street Journal poll. But I'm in every one of those same polls, and I defeat Biden, according to the Wall Street Journal, by 17 points. That's a mandate. That's a mandate on getting our debt paid down and getting our inflation in control. That's a mandate on getting our kids reading again. That's a mandate on closing those borders. That's a mandate on getting rid of the lawlessness and starting to support our officers. That's a mandate on a strong America again. And I think people want to know that they can win governorships, Senate seats, House seats, up and down the ticket by having a strong person at the top. And that's what I think is moving people.
Ambassador Nikki Haley, Governor Chris Sununu, thank you so much for joining me today. Great to chat.
Thanks. Go to NikkiHaley.com.
Take care. All right. Boy, feel the energy, huh? They really, something going on. I always thought Republicans would be the first to elect a woman president. I really did. Or the first Hispanic president. I really thought that they were gonna claim that. So we'll see how she does. Very exciting times, though, in politics. Interesting to hear that he feels that tectonic shift already happening in New Hampshire. Wow. Big times. All right. I got to take a break for the news, and I'll be back. Stay with me. This is Sirius XM.